It's no secret that California is one of the most expensive states to live in, and if you live right here in San Diego, it's also no secret that America's finest city comes with a hefty price tag. So where is everybody relocating to if they're getting out of the Golden State? Let's talk about that coming up. First, if you are new here, my name's Spade with Keller Williams Realty, and I make all these videos to help you make sense of the real estate market. If you would do me a huge favor, please click the subscribe button. Also, click that little bell so you can be notified every single time we drop fresh new content. And if you would share this video with someone you might find value in it, that would be super helpful, and it would also do a lot for my self-esteem. Now, the biggest reason people are citing leaving California is obviously the high cost of living. We know that all too well here in San Diego, where the average cost for a home is just over $1.1 million. Some of the other things people are saying that is making them leave the Golden State is crime, pollution, and taxes. They're getting out of control. As a matter of fact, businesses have also started to move out of California. A Hoover Institution report reported in 2022 that 352 businesses left California and relocated them to other cheaper states. Businesses are saying the reason they're leaving is there's too much red tape here in California to even do business. Not to mention the high cost in rent, high taxes, and the high cost of living for their employees. It's just not making sense. And in fact, most of those employees are getting out looking for places to go that are a lot less expensive. So let's take a look at the top 5 states and why people are choosing to relocate from California. Number 1 is Texas. Now, Texas offers a 37% lower cost of living than California. The median household income in Texas is $67,321, and the average home value is $3,090. It's 60% cheaper to buy a home in Texas than it is here in California. Now, the average rent for a 1-bedroom in Texas is $1,600, which is 34% lower than what you can get here in California. Now, Florida is taking spot number 2. Let's take a look at the numbers there. The cost of living in Florida is 46% lower than it is here in California. The median household income in Florida is $61,800, so that is lower than California, but the offset in the lower income is still drawing people out to Florida because the cost of living is so much less. The average price for a home in Florida is just over $392,000. And the average rent for a 1-bedroom apartment is $1,888, so that's about 34% less than California. During the pandemic, many people who wintered in Florida decided to stay permanently. Florida real estate market is absolutely booming, and even though the values have gone up almost 75% in the last 5 years, the average home value is still close to 50% less than you'd find right here in California. I mean, you do have to deal with the hurricanes if you're over there, but other than that, most people from California find Florida to be a great transition. And just to the north, Washington State. Now, why are people flocking to Washington State? Well, it could be that the cost of living is 19% lower than it is here in California. Now, the median income is $84,097. That's just 2% lower than what it is here in California. So there is a big savings if you are buying a home there, which the average home value is $571,248. That's 24% less than it is here in California. And the average rent is $1,614, which is 43% less than it is here in California. Now, if you are into the outdoors, Washington is going to be the state for you because there is so much to do outside. People are also making Washington their home because they like great public transportation. It's also a low median age, just like here in California. Seattle is the most booming city in the state. That's the place you're going to find the highest population, and you're going to find a lot of things to do, and there's a lot of great things in Washington. So Washington could be the state that you might want to just jump up to. Coming in at number 4 is Tennessee. Now, we had a real estate agent in my office. She packed up her entire family and moved out east to Tennessee. They are living there, and when I asked her why she was doing it, she said the cost of living, and it's insanely cheaper out there. Let's take a a look at Tennessee. Now, the cost of living in Tennessee is 40% lower than it is here in California. Now, the median household income is $58,516. The average home value is $311,706. And the average rent for a one-bedroom is $1,240. Get this, that's 56% lower than what you can get it for here in California. So if you're really thinking about lowering your expenses, Tennessee might be one of those states that you want to live in. Nashville is a great city. Chattanooga, also another great city. That's where people are flocking to. Franklin, Tennessee is another place that a lot of people are starting to flock to. In fact, that's where one of my colleagues moved to, and my chiropractor's parents also left California, paid cash for their house in Franklin, and now are living very comfortably there. So why are people choosing Tennessee? Well, Tennessee weather is warm and winters are mild, which can be a particular plus for Californians who are used to the sun and those who are craving more of it. There are a ton of tasty foods, loads of southern hospitality, and views of the famous Smoky Mountains. So also it's home to Dollywood and Gatlinburg, which is near Dollywood. So if you love the Great Smoky Mountains, this might be a place you want to check out. And finally on that list is another West Coast state, and that is Oregon. Now, the average cost of living in Oregon is going to be 23% lower than it is here in California. The median household income is $70,084. That's 17% lower than California. But get this, their home values are $490,224. That's 36% lower than California, and the average rent for a one-bedroom is $1,475, which is 51% lower than what it is here in California. Now, just like Washington, there's a lot to do outdoors in Oregon. There's also a great wine scene there, just like there is in Washington, which is kind of getting a lot of people to flock there. So especially if you live in that Northern California area, the climates are not going to be too terribly different. Obviously, the further north you go, it's going to be getting a little bit colder. But if you live up in the Bay Area and the very northern part of California, you know as well that it gets very chilly up there. Some of the other big draws to Oregon for Californians are the open spaces, the small town vibes, gorgeous views, the rocky coast, dramatic mountains, lush forests, and there's even desert there. It's a true four-season state where fall and summer take the cake with colorful foliage and sunny days that are warm but not oppressive. And those that are choosing to leave to California are going to very specific cities. For example, Dallas, Texas ranks the #1 city in all of Texas where Californians are moving. The cost of living is 17% lower than it is in Sacramento. Seattle, Washington is #2. The cost of living in Seattle is 31% lower than San Francisco. And if you live in the San Francisco Bay Area, you know it's very expensive there. Portland, Oregon comes in at #3. Now, Portland, Oregon is 25% lower cost of living than Los Angeles. That says a lot. So if you're looking to save some money, your cost of living is going to go way down there. Nashville, Tennessee, country music capital, is the cost of living there is 32% lower than San Diego. And here is a state we did not talk about, but this made the list. Boise, Idaho. It is 68%. The cost of living is 68% lower than Santa Barbara. Tell me what you think in the comments below. Are you planning on moving out of California? If you are, make sure you get in touch with me because I know agents all across the United States that can help you and help you find a great home for your next transition. Also, tell me what you think. Are you moving anywhere that is not on this list? I'd love to hear in the comments. If you would like to schedule a discovery call with me, my calendar link is in the description below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll check in on the next one.